You are now tuned into Flippin' the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 57 of Flippin' the Birds, brought to you by PSN Radio. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante, and today we're going to try to figure out the mystery behind the chaos. What the hell is going on? And first thing, I'm going to ask you right off the rip, because Chris Long went out and said it that, hey, maybe in 2017 it was actually lightning in the damn bottle. Maybe they weren't supposed to be that good, but I don't know. Like, so there's teams of destiny and there's dynasties. It's looking like the Eagles were just a team of destiny in 2017, and I know you're feeling down in the dumps as I am. Help me.
Someone made a wish at some genie that year.
Nobody sold their soul. They had to have.
Someone made a wish with some genie that they found in the desert, and we won the Super Bowl. And the genie was like a one contingency plan. You don't win ever again. And this is what it seems like. It's just mind-boggling how this team can look so great in 1 year with all these injuries. We're like, okay, so we're getting Wentz back.
It was next man up mentality.
We're getting Hicks back, maybe. You know, we're getting Peters back. We're getting Chris Marigold's back. We're getting all these guys back. We're gonna retool, we're ready to go, and then, yeah. So it's frustrating because, you know, it's Philadelphia. You know, we're so used to winning. I know that was our first Super Bowl a few years ago, but
that was supposed to be the standard.
Right. So that's what Doug said, the new normal. You know, it's we're so used to NFC Championship games, playoff runs. You know, I know one Super Bowl within those years, but still, like, being a contender for a Super Bowl year in and year out, except for a few years here and there. Like, the only year prior to Chip Kelly that we weren't really a Super Bowl contender was Andy Reid's last year. And maybe that was 1 year too late of letting Andy Reid go. And, you know, I'm pretty
sure Andy Reid could have turned the ship if given an opportunity.
But Jeff wanted a new, you know, direction. And what Jeff wants, Jeff gets, obviously, because he's the owner.
So let's talk about Jeff before we talk about Howie and Doug. Is Jeff becoming an issue for this team? Because let's be honest, we talked about the last podcast where we felt like he was meddling in the affairs of, you know, Doug and his coaching staff, of, you know, the whole thing that you and LJ spoke about in the chat today was Jeffrey mentioning that he wanted to get a quarterback every year. And we see that pure evidence of Jalen Hurts.
Pretty much every year we've gotten a quarterback between Nate Sudfeld, between Clayton Thorson, between Jalen Hurts. And then, you know, signing Kyle Lauletta off the Giants practice squad. What was it? Luis Perez off the XFL or whatever.
Wow, I forgot about him. Yeah.
You know, Jeffrey Lurie's obsessed with collecting quarterbacks.
But what's the point of it right now? Like, collect weapons.
I feel like Jeffrey Lurie is that guy in fantasy who collects a certain position. And it's like, one of these guys is going to need this position.
Is it kind of like the guy who collects tight ends in our fantasy
league? The guy
league?
that collects tight ends in the PSN fantasy league who collects tight ends. Like, one of these days, guys, you're going to need a tight end. But it's like, no, we could just go to the waiver wire. Like, it's not that serious. And when Jeffrey Lurie is like, oh, fine, okay, I could ship off Nate Sudfeld, or I could ship off this. They don't really need Nate Sudfeld anymore because someone else became available. So it's – I don't know how many different, like, even they got Nick Foles. Like, did they need Nick Foles? You know, maybe not. Obviously, they did. You know,
he came in handy.
But prior to that season, did they really need Nick Foles? You know,
they had Chase Daniel.
Yeah, Chase Daniel. You know, it's like, who is in the running with Sam Bradford before most.
Where the hell is Chase nowadays?
I think he's on the Bears. He can't be
on the Bears? No.
Chase Daniel is on someone's team.
He didn't get beat out by Nick again, did he? Don't tell me Nick did that to him again.
He's on the Lions.
Okay. Oh, all right.
He's been his NFC North tour. But it's, you know, it's just crazy how Jeffrey Lurie is just like quarterback available. All right, let's go. But again, like
But you
of
gotta
course,
think, doesn't that hurt your like? Aren't you like thinking like, damn, that's like you're hurting your franchise quarterback. That's literally like middle kid syndrome. Like you're treating your best player like the middle child. You're actually doing this. And Carson Wentz, no matter how he looks right now, is a top 5 talent.
talent, yes,
He may be
talent,
off
yes.
right now, but
As a
talent-wise, he's
quarterback
there.
right now, not anymore.
He's the worst quarterback in the NFL right now.
Probably. But talent-wise, there's no doubt his talent when he's on, he's top five talent in the league. There's no doubt about that. But he's not on right now. He's very, very off.
Can you believe how off he is, though?
It's like I find it so crazy how far he's regressed. He was a really good rookie to start. Not rookie of the year, and it was Dak, but you still start off 3-0. You almost set the record for most pass attempts in a rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
It's only short to Andrew Luck. MVP caliber season in 2017. Throwing for 21 touchdowns on a broken back in 2018. Last year, breaking the record for most passing yards in Eagles history with me and you at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that's there, and then this year it's just gone.
Is it really regression, though, or is it kind of like, hey, COVID happened. Hey, I had a baby. Hey, I didn't work on my mechanics, guys. I really didn't work on polishing my mechanics because it's showing that he's
the baby can be a factor in this. As we both know, we both have very young children. I have a 10-month-old on Sunday, and you have a 3-year-old. So it's like we know. But it's at the same time, I know COVID and all this happened, but you can still – I know people are getting fined for, like, meeting up and practicing, but do it secretly. Like,
nobody needs to know.
Take your temperatures and do it.
I'm pretty sure he owns a lot of land. Like, the guy likes to go hunting.
How many times do we see him kill a deer? And like, okay, just go throw a football in the damn woods. Shoot a deer and pick up a football and go throw it. Like, do it both. Who cares? And, see if you can hit the deer with the football. Let's see, moving target. Maybe that'll help his accuracy. But it's crazy how, like, that excuse has come up for him. And then Doug's put the excuse with the COVID stuff and, not enough. You're the only team in the division bringing back a head coach, bringing back pretty much the same system, bringing back almost everybody with only a few new pieces here and there.
The only team with an actual consistent
that's so stupid. That's so stupid. And it's just they don't have an identity right now. They really don't. And
so speaking of identity, let's talk about something let's move to Doug. We'll say I'm pretty sure we'll have something for Howie later on. Doug Pederson is doing it again, but this time he has the talent at running back. He has a back that could do it. He blamed it on Miles, stamina and fatigue. I get that, completely understandable. But they completely went away from the run game that was working for them in the first half. Completely went away from it. And when you needed it in overtime, you could have ran the ball a couple of times to get in better field goal range. You could have done that, but they didn't do it. At this point, it's to give up on your team, to punt the damn ball in overtime and give up on your team with 20 seconds left. I would have rather taken a loss. Just take the L at that point. If you think the Bengals are really going to beat you with 20 seconds left, let's see it happen. But at least do something where you can actually have some dignity at the end of the game, where you're not saying, oh, you know what? If I hear that remark one more time, if that's a good question remark one more time, I'm going to lose my hair.
He looks so dejected in his press conferences now.
He looks checked out.
He looks so checked out. And it's like I feel like he thinks he's gone. I just, the way he answers things feels like he's a lame duck coach.
He's not there.
He's not there yet. Like it's crazy because I don't know. Like it's just he's not the same Doug anymore. He's not the upbeat guy in the press conference making jokes with the reporters. They're talking about his ice cream.
He's been a little snarky with the reporters.
He's been very snippy, very, very snippy, and it's just I don't know. I feel like, and I said this on the post game on Sunday, and I said that to Jimmy yesterday. I just think that he knows his time is coming to a close, and it's either he's doing everything in spite of Howie or doing everything in spite of Carson and all that. Because if you look at the way he ran the offense with Nick Foles,
It was different.
it was RPOs. Why are you running RPO? It worked perfectly, but why are you looking at Nick Foles like, you know what, I'm going to run a RPO with that guy, and instead of looking at Carson Wentz's athleticism, like, you know what, I'm going to run an RPO with that guy. But right now he's looking at him like, no, stay right there, don't move.
And I have a question about that. So we know Nick can throw the deep ball. He loves throwing the deep ball. RPOs we're working great because Nick loves to sling it and he listens to the coach. He follows protocol. Wouldn't that be better with Carson? Like, wouldn't you think that's like a higher tier with Carson, where you just mentioned he has athleticism to move, which he showed. He rushed for 65 yards against the Bengals, and he loves to throw the deep ball.
I really think there's a disconnect between Doug and Carson. I really think there is, and we had the report from his mom. His mom.
Quote unquote mom. Let's clarify that.
Carson's changing things at the line, and Doug is calling it in, and Carson doesn't like it, and all that stuff. But then we see Doug's press conference in what was it, yesterday, where he said they're looking to simplify things for Carson now, less changes at the line and all that. So maybe
that's the case.
Andy Mom has a little point. Maybe they're gonna cut off the mic or something and say, come over here, you're gonna run this play, go. You can't talk to me anymore. But it's
a bit exhausting to deal with. So I'm gonna dive a little deep. I'm gonna ask Coach Infante, because you're a coach for I believe for basketball, and for track at one point.
Yes. Well, I'm still. Yeah.
Oh, still okay.
Learn my job.
It's not. Hey, don't get snippy, okay, Doug? At some point, if you see this happening with one of your best players, if you see the team completely failing and completely collapsing right before your very eyes, what is your recipe to fix this? Like, what's your first approach? Like, how would Coach Infante approach this and say, hey, guys, we got to fix this? Like, it's time for panic. I mean, I don't care what myself. It's time for panic. That's
essentially what you are alluding to there. You got to sit down the guys and the team and legitimately have a legit meeting, not just with the captains, whatever. Talk to the whole damn team, sit them down, all 53 plus the practice squad in there, and say, listen, we really need to get with it and talk and be open. What am I doing wrong? What do you think you're doing wrong? What do you think Jim's doing wrong? What do you think the myriad of offensive coaches are doing wrong? What do you think Dave Phipp is doing? What do you think Deuce is doing? What you need to just have a concrete, honest conversation about what is going on. None of these messages going through the media. None of these, this and that. No, nothing like that. It's just, for Doug to say, the first time, last week, why was Jay Jaw targeted? Oh, that's a good question. Maybe talk to Carson and say, what were you looking at here? We have these old reports that no one was talking to Carson on the sideline until he got up off the bench and took the tablet. So, what is going on here? And I said during the game on Sunday, Carson's – and I know Doug pushed it down, the notion of benching Carson and all that.
Of course, yeah.
But the last time Doug said nothing's going to happen, something happened, with Mike.
Every time Doug says nothing's going to happen, something happens.
But it feels like – it really feels like Sunday's game, or maybe a game soon, is going to be like the game in 2008 where Andy benched McNabb for Kevin Cobb for a game. I think McNabb came back and killed it for the rest of the season. I feel like that's coming, where Jalen Hurts is going to start for Wentz just to give Wentz a break off and just give him if he's
he did it to Aguilar.
If he's
that's
terrible,
a poor example, but he did it to Aguilar.
He should have did it to Aguilar a lot more times. But if Wentz is not good Sunday, I feel like against the Steelers, which sucks because you don't really want to throw a rookie to a defense like the Steelers, but then you don't want to throw him a rookie against a defense like the Ravens, but maybe the Giants, but then not the Cowboys because their defensive line is very good.
Yeah.
And then not the Browns later on because their defense is very good, and then not really maybe the Cardinals because their defense sucks. But then you got the Packers, and so there's really not a good time for them.
There's no room for error right now.
But if Wentz is really bad again and has his fourth straight game with 2 interceptions or more, that's like maybe it's time to sit him down and be like, let's see what the future is, and maybe that'll open his eyes. Like, okay, I need to kick it up a notch right now. Which is sad because it should be that already, and people want to bring out Aaron Rodgers and how the Packers drafted Jordan Love, and look, Rodgers is balling the fuck out right now.
It lit a fire underneath him, which is like, weird.
On one hand, I could Carson. On one hand, I could see that and be like, okay, Carson, you saw your maybe replacement come in. You need to show that you shouldn't be replaced right now. But at the same time, they give you 128 million reasons why you're not going to be replaced anytime soon. They made that dead cap so big.
And they vouched for him.
To show that you are the guy. And the Packers are drafting a backup quarterback to a 37-year-old. Could be on his way out in the next couple of years. Whereas
Carson's 10 years younger.
Wentz is 28, it's 29. And it's like,
I think he's 27, actually.
20 or 27. One of those years, but it's still almost pretty much 10 years younger than Aaron Rodgers. So that's not really comparable to me because it's just, you see a veteran leaving who's been here for like 15 years, 16 years, and Wentz is in his 5th year. So why are you drafting your replacement in the 2nd round when he's shown you he's already the the franchise leader in touchdowns? He's a franchise leader in yards. He's the franchise leader in touchdown to interception percentage. He's I believe the touchdown the franchise leader in yards per game. I believe I'm probably wrong, maybe second, but he's the franchise right now, and you're drafting his replacement in the 2nd round. I don't know. It's
tough to see right now because you're seeing a team that looks magnificent on paper. You're seeing like this is the team that we want in Philly right now on paper, but you're not seeing the camaraderie that we saw before. It doesn't have to match 2017. It just has to be enough. You don't see the chemistry. You don't see that vibe. I mean, Fletcher Cox, they come out saying, that's our quarterback. We're going to have his back, which is completely understandable. But at what point is Carson going to look behind him and say, hey, wow, you know what? They really do have my back. They're all standing right behind me. I get it. Not 20 receivers were open, but several receivers were actually open. Like Greg Ward, the same play that they ran for that touchdown, they ran a couple plays before, and Carson completely missed them and dumped it to Ertz for that loss of yards. At what point are we going to see Carson just mature and be like, hey, I see what I'm doing. And it's not no more I'm going to do better. It's more I'm doing better now. Like enough is enough. Like we've heard this.
Yeah, like again,
this is repetitive every year.
Every week, I got to be better. I got to be better.
When is it? This is on me.
This is on me. I'm going to be better. This is on me. I got to look in the mirror. I'm going to be better. Shut up and just do it.
I don't want to hear the script talk. I want to hear legit, like, guys, this is what I'm doing to improve. I want to hear wide receivers saying, like, yeah, Carson's like a man possessed right now at practice, which brings me to this. You might pick on me about this, but I think the return of Alshon Jeffery is necessary.
I actually said that to Jimmy yesterday. It's like Alshon Jeffery's Thanos, and he's just sitting there, and here comes Wentz and Doug and Howie just walking to him, like the scene where Thanos is sitting there, and you see Captain and Iron Man and Thor just walking towards him. They said, "You couldn't have lived with your failure, so where has that brought you back to me?" And that's Alshon Jeffery right now, and he's like.
Wentz and Alshon, I personally believe Wentz and Alshon, they need each other more than they even know. I think the whole if you look at the Alshon comments all over again, I don't think it's that brutal enough where you need to bury Alshon. But I do believe for their careers, they need each other now more than ever. Wentz needs that possession receiver that he could trust. He only trusts Greg Ward right now. And Zach Ertz, time and time.
Maybe.
But Alshon is that guy that Wentz hates to trust him. But he loves to have him. And that's what needs to happen this Sunday if Alshon plays. Like I said, I believe it's very, very necessary that Alshon is a big part of this offense. I don't think Deshaun is a bigger necessity.
Yeah, I don't think with Alshon coming back, I think that's maybe not turn the season around because again it's going to be
it's going to not be a Super Bowl season, but at least have some dignity. Like start, being a threat to some teams.
Yeah, but you know what shouldn't be a threat though is you're standing with your partner, your relationship with your partner. If they take off your pants and they see something they don't want to see, you you tackle that, no pun intended, with football. You tackle that by using the Lawnmower 3.0 by Manscaped by Manscaped. Go ahead over to manscaped.com. Use promo code FTB at checkout, 20% off, free shipping for anything on the site. Anything. There's really, really great boxers that are just they're super comfy.
Body wash is
The
phenomenal.
Lawnmower 3.0, we just talked about the weed whacker for your nose hairs.
Mm-hmm.
The body wash that Brian just said it's fantastic. They got ball deodorant, they got ball toner, they got feet deodorant, they got everything that a man needs. They have a new grooming kit for your nails. They file them and everything. It's fantastic. And you know, personal grooming is very big now, and men, it should be big in men, for anybody. But this no other site brings you the stuff for men's grooming than manscaped.com does. Head over there, FTB, very easy to remember, flipping the birds for the balls. You got nothing to lose, man. The Lawnmower 3.0, the package is $100. Use our code, you get 20% off. Quick math, that's $80 right there. You're getting the Lawnmower 3.0. You get 2 free gifts also, plus the free shipping. Come on. Easy.
All right, so joining us today from Niners Nation is Kyle Posey. Kyle, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Doing well, man. What's going on?
Not much, man. I wish we could be doing well over here.
Yeah, things aren't too sunny in Philadelphia right now.
Not at all.
Let me ask you guys this. What's the mood like in Eagles territory right now?
Have you've seen Michael Kiss tweets? I think he pretty much sums it up, like for everything that's going on right now.
He's my co-host on another podcast.
Yeah. It's like he puts it very elegantly for us. Like it's just like between like he does it without all the screaming that we do. We right now it's just we just don't get it. Like there's so much crap going on in this organization that it's like it reminds of like it's like reminiscent of all the crap that the Redskins have gone through over the years of front office debacles and mistrust in the head coach and the top, and then there's not confidence in their quarterback. And no matter how many years Kirk Cousins was there was never trust in Kirk Cousins for them to it's just crazy what's from perennial Super Bowl contender to now fighting for something.
Now doormat in the NFC East.
Yeah,
pretty much.
The times are up. Got it.
But on the other side, I mean, you guys, even without your starting quarterback and without your 2 main defensive linemen, you guys did blow out the Giants and looking still, pretty good. How you feeling on your side?
I mean, 49ers fans will find a way to complain about anything. So even after really handing it to the Giants with their B team, now it's more about should Mullins start over Garoppolo. So even with all the injuries, they're still finding ways to complain. But I think, the 49ers have enough depth where they're able to get by these bad teams. It's going to be about, what they can do with teams that can challenge them on defense.
So are you guys moving with Garoppolo on Sunday or?
So they're going to find out at practice on Wednesday whether Garoppolo is going to be good to go or not. Kyle Shanahan said he's going to monitor the situation as the week goes along, but I think he's closer to questionable. Last week he was doubtful, so he's going to be upgraded this week. But it'll probably come down to a game time decision. It was a high ankle sprain, and he only missed 1 game. So back in 2 weeks would be kind of a surprise still.
Yeah, usually high ankle sprain, you're out for at least 3 weeks, depending on the grade, I guess. But to see him back on Sunday will be pretty surprising. But, you got Nick Mullins, who's lining up the Giants and their new cornerback, James Bradbury. And we do have our own James Bradbury, I guess, with Darius Slay, but everybody else is just like, with our linebackers, especially number 47. I don't go by name for him anymore because he's bad.
God awful.
He's really bad.
Hasn't allowed an incompletion all season long.
Right now, quarterbacks are 13 for 13 against him for like 150 something yards and almost a perfect quarterback rating. It's not good. It's not good.
I think that sums up the mood in Philadelphia. When your starting linebacker is a converted safety who's never been good and still, for some wild reason, is still out there.
Game this season, Kyle Shanahan has taken advantage of the other team's linebackers.
Oh, great.
I forgot who it was against the Jets. And then last week, they just ate Blake Martinez.
Oh, Blake Martinez is terrible in coverage.
Yeah, and I've seen Nate Geary. That's how you say his name, right?
Yeah, I say number 47, but
You say whatever you want. Don't worry about it.
I've just seen him turn his back so many times when he didn't have to do that, and I can imagine, man. It's that matchup is probably not going to go too well for you on Sunday.
Who's your starting tight end this Sunday though? Because I think Jordan Reed is out for a couple of weeks now as well.
So they think that they're going to get George Kittle back.
Oh, don't say that.
And, he actually didn't take the road trip to the East Coast, knowing that there would be a home game coming up. So I think that the extra prep time and him pretty much sitting out and resting up. Hopefully the hope is that Kittle plays. So George Kittle is the starting tight end to answer your question.
Damn it!
Can we kick him off now? Like, that's it. We're done with it. That's scary. I mean, Ayuk showing what he can do. And is Debo coming back? Because I saw he might be coming back.
So I don't think so. He's going to return to practice on Wednesday, but I don't think that they're going to play him. So he hasn't done anything since the Super Bowl, basically. And when he hurt I believe he broke his foot in late June. So he hasn't had a chance. He's just been training, so he's not even in game shape yet. So I imagine you'll miss Debo this week.
But there's still Ayuk.
Well, I mean, we do have Darius Slay. Let's not knock off Darius Slay because he's still great.
Right.
Is Slay going to travel with Ayuk?
I guess it depends because at first when we saw him in the beginning of the season, we saw him traveling with McLaren, and then against the Rams, not really traveling too much. He was just pretty much staying on the side, and it didn't really matter because Higbee was the one destroying us. Mm-hmm. And then last week he was shutting down AJ Green anywhere he went, which really I feel like isn't much of an accomplishment nowadays because AJ Green is a shell of himself now, and they just had Tyler Boyd just ripping us to shreds.
And T. Higgins.
So it's like maybe he'll stay on one side, but maybe, just to neutralize what Kyle Shanahan likes to do with, off the edge and out in space. But it's just that linebacker matchup versus not even versus Kittle, versus anyone who's going to be in open space there. It's just like you said, on Sunday, I can't tell you how many times we heard on the broadcast, there goes number 47 chasing after T. Higgins, chasing after Tyler Boyd, and it's just you look at the screen, it's the back of his jersey every time.
At one point, he was racing T. Higgins into the end zone, like they were actually neck and neck, just racing. He wasn't even looking at him and anything.
He's just like, what the hell am I? It's what it is. That's depressing. But I want to talk about your offense right now, and really, really our offense, because I'm not sure if you've seen much of the Eagles' offense at all this year, but we kind of got a Kyle Shanahan disciple on the staff now in Rich Scangarello. So I'm not sure. If you've seen anything on the Eagles, have you seen anything like Kyle Shanahan on the Eagles offense that he's brought over? Because I feel like that's probably why they brought him over because anybody who's been a Redskins assistant seems to excel everywhere else. So that's Kyle Shanahan, really. And then to learn from Kyle Shanahan how great he was in Atlanta and then follow him to San Francisco, I thought that maybe he could bring some of that to Philly, and it's really Doug Pederson just pulling things out of a hat and seeing if it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like no matter who's under him, Pederson's going to have control, and Pederson's going to kind of do what he does. So Rich was the quarterback's coach with Shanahan, but I don't think that he had too much input as far as what they do on offense. And what is his title in Philly?
Offensive assistant, I believe.
He's like senior offensive assistant.
Yeah, I'm not so sure he had much of an input, and because as he left, I mean, still Kyle Shanahan and they have a run game coordinator and pass game coordinator, so he didn't have much of an effect in their offense.
Yeah, it seems our owner actually grew obsessed with everything that Kyle Shanahan does. So the Eagles try to mimic what you guys did, but they're not doing very well at it. I mean, you guys, have mastered the pre-snap motion, but then you also have Brandon Ayuk, you have Deebo Samuel, who have, great speed. The Eagles are not a team of great speed or even capable of running an offense like that at this point.
Like Jalen Rigor was supposed to be our Deebo Samuel.
Correct.
And now he's kind of like our Deebo Samuel maybe on the IR. kind of. But it's like I feel like that's why they drafted for, because he could kind of do everything. Like he could split out wide, he could be a Z, he could be a Y, he could be an X, he could come around and end around, he can do anything, and then we're not really seeing that yet.
Is Jalen Reagor gonna play, or is he out?
He's out again. He tore the UCL ligament in his thumb.
Oh,
And he just had surgery.
He just had surgery a few days ago, but they haven't put him on IR yet, which is very questionable. Like we don't know if they waited so long with Deshaun last year, and then he was out for the year, but reports are saying that he's out till November because of the surgery, and then Derek Gunn in Philadelphia said that he's talked to people who said that Breaker's probably going to come back a lot earlier. So maybe that's why they haven't put him on IR. I've talked to people that said that Reagor is a very fast healer, and we saw that because he tore his labrum. It was a slight tear, and he was back to play week 1, and he was supposed to miss until I think yesterday. He was supposed to come back yesterday, but who the hell knows with this training staff and his strength and conditioning staff and his medical staff? Who the hell knows anymore? It's just like I was hoping when we started this whole know your enemy thing. I was hoping to be talking to someone from the 49ers like, all right, we have undefeated versus undefeated, or 3-1, 2-1 versus 2-1. It's just like
it's the opposite.
It's like, which NFC West team's going to beat us the least worst? Like it's now like you have to compete with the Rams, 39 points right now, and see how bad can we be beaten by an NFC West team. It's like
I thought this was going to be a very good game when the schedule first came out, like everybody else, and even leading up to preseason, even with Debo out, I thought that the Eagles would challenge, because I thought that Wentz has like these MVP moments, like these MVP games, even not just moments where he looks like a baller, and that just has not been the case at all. And even with those weapons, I thought Reagor would challenge him, because the 49ers usually struggle with teams that have speed and teams that have a quarterback that is mobile, that can move a little bit. So I think the world of Deshaun Jackson, even at age 47. And I actually think Dallas Goedert is really good, but not having him is going to hurt, man. I don't know.
Well, but they did sign Hakeem Butler today to be a tight end.
This is pride and joy of the day.
I loved him.
You two move better than Butler, so I wouldn't.
Hey, anything is better than J-Jaw right now. So
going on there, because he, like in college, he couldn't really separate, but he still like made plays when the ball.
Yeah, he still outjumped everybody and just grabbed it out of the air, and now he can't even outjump himself at this point. It's
a weird thing with Philly right now, where everybody we draft isn't who they used to be for some reason. But being on the opposite line, you guys have Jimmy Garoppolo. We have Carson Wentz. You just mentioned that you expected Wentz to be this, MVP caliber type player. How does the view look on your side of the fence, where you're looking at this quarterback who looks like he's regressing a bit, to be kind? 6 interceptions already in the season, only 3 touchdowns thrown, and it looks like he can't hit anything on the mark at all.
Yeah, Wentz just looks broken, I guess is the best way to put it. He's not seeing the field at all. It's like he's out there playing in practice and he's throwing on air, and he's not seeing the opposite color jersey, because he's making throws that he should not be making. And I think the reason you guys are so frustrated is Wentz has played at a high level. So when a quarterback teases you like that, you expect to see that more often than not. And you are not getting that at all this year, which makes it even more frustrating. And when you are going to be on a nationally televised game, knowing that the odds, if he's going to probably play like he has been all season, because you have no evidence that he won't, it's even more depressing to think about.
Now, can you give us some solace now to try and give us some hope? What's going on with that Niners defense? I know they destroyed the Giants, but you're still missing Sherman, right? And you're still missing Thomas. You're still missing Bosa for the rest of the year. Javon Kinlaw looks like he was born as a 40-year-old man with just dad strength. And it's just like Fred Warner is amazing. And I'll tell you a funny story. A few weeks ago, before the season started, I was writing this article and I was looking for Twitter, suggestions from fans. What is your realistic what's one realistic trade you could see the Eagles doing before the season starts? Because Howie always does these August trades and things like that. We had Ronald Darby before the Super Bowl season. They had Jonathan Cyprin a couple years ago, last year. And one guy said, send Rasul Douglas, before he got cut, send Rasul Douglas to the Niners because they need cornerback help for Fred Warner. And I was like, what? Like, do you know who Fred Warner is? Because
the 49ers are not going to trade one of the best linebackers.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. I said realistic, not Madden. Like even the Madden, no matter how many picks you probably add to that, the Madden's just like, just turn off the game. It probably turns off the PS5 on automatically, or PS4 at this point. PS5 is not out yet, but that's another topic. But is that defense still formidable even without all those pieces, or are we going to get crushed, or is our offensive line is Jason Peters going to tear something?
So they haven't been very good against the pass, as a pass rushing team, and that's to be expected just because they're without Nick Bosa, as you mentioned, they're without Solomon Thomas, they're without Dee Ford, who's on the IR because of a broken neck and a broken back, which nobody comes back from that. They signed Ziggy Ansah, and he looked like a shell of himself, which is to be expected. Mm-hmm. He's been playing a lot. I mean, they're relying on a bunch of veterans and guys that they signed off the streets and practice. Like Deion Jordan is playing a lot of snaps for the 49ers on the defensive line, and that is probably not a good thing. But they do have Eric Armstead still. They do have Javon Kinlaw, as you mentioned, and they're getting some timely pass rushes from guys that you wouldn't expect. So the Eagles are probably going to have some success as far as having time to throw. It's going to be about whether Wentz can make those throws. And their starting cornerback last week, Emmanuel Mosley, is in the concussion protocol. His backup, Achille Witherspoon, has a hamstring injury, so he missed well. So 49ers were playing the Giants with their fourth and fifth string cornerbacks, and the Giants still just looked like a mess. But the good news is their fourth string cornerback is Jason Verrett, who is healthy, and he looks like he's healthy. So that'd be nice.
Big draft pedigree there, Jason Verrett.
Yeah, like he was a baller. Everybody remembers when he was healthy, he was a baller. He looked like that this week. So I wonder if that's going to stay if he keeps that up, because they really do need that. Because the guy on the other side, Dante Johnson, he had 2 targets where he literally tripped over his own feet. And that tells you all you need to know about him. So if number 27 is on the field, attack.
He sounds like a fit for the Eagles defense.
It honestly sounds like the teams are so alike in so many ways, with the injuries, with even the clumsy players. But
yeah, they have a lot in common. I think that you're seeing is just like Kyle Shanahan and Doug Pederson.
And Kyle Shanahan's just everybody wants to put so much stock into Sean McVay and all this stuff that he does, and all, like he finally beat Doug Pederson 2 weeks ago. Congratulations. But to me, Kyle Shanahan's been the guy to be put everything.
He's been a wizard
so
since
we saw how he did what he did with the Redskins. The same thing with Sean McVay. Like, they were both on the Redskins, but then we saw what Matt Ryan looked like with him in Atlanta, and then now he's bringing it to Nick Mullins and Jimmy G, and C.J. Beathard, and all these things that Kyle Shanahan's doing. He's a great head coach, man, and I just wish
he's so creative, and he uses his he maximizes off his players' abilities. Like, he's maximized off of Jimmy Garoppolo, even though in the Super Bowl didn't look like that. But
I respected him a lot more after his comments when he was asked how was it playing coaching for the Redskins, and he said the pro was working for his father, and the con was everything else. I love that comment.
I think that helps players respect him. But yeah, he's super creative. He, as you guys mentioned, he motions so much, and that just throws defenses off. There's just a lot going on pre-snap that defenses just have no idea where the ball is, and then they have the speed, so the screens work and all the misdirection. And if you're a step late, that gives a guy a chance, and that's all it takes usually.
It's funny because the Eagles have been trying to master the pre-snap motions, but they're the ones who are actually a step late, where the defense is just eating up the receivers in the backfield. Like, you actually can predict what the Eagles are going to do in the pre-snap motions, and it's gotten to a bad point. So Kyle, I need you to break,
especially on the defensive side, because we've seen reports that, and it's from Adam Kaplan, and who knows what he says. But it's like he said that he's spoken to many people that says Jim Schwartz's defense is the most simple defense to figure out because he doesn't mask anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, which worries me for number 47, because if the Niners are moving all these bits and pieces around, his head's going to explode.
Right.
And 47 is not going to know where to go.
What he's done the last couple of weeks is when there is a guy that he can pick on. So what I like to call barbecue chicken. If you guys have food on your roster on defense, and he is obvious, which Gary is, what Kyle Shanahan did is he's going to run everybody off, clear out the field, and then he's just going to isolate that player in space, and he's just going to go over and over and over. So it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts, and that's the most brutal way to have it.
So what you're saying is number 47's that, I'm going to be non-PC here, that fat kid in gym class. And I'm saying that right now because I'm a PE teacher, in real life. In real life. Not in fake life, like right now. So number 47 that is that fat kid, and Kyle Shanahan is Billy Madison with the dodgeball in his hand, and he's like, "Oh, you're all in trouble now," and he's just going to hit number 47 with that dodgeball over and over and over.
There's nowhere he can go. Yeah, you can hide. You can think you're hiding, but a simple motion, and we're right back to square one. And now you have to cover somebody. So yes, that is a great analogy.
That's such a scary thought.
This is awesome. I love this podcast. It's great.
So Kyle, I need you to break us the bad news. Give us your prediction for Sunday night.
So I think the 49ers win. I think that you guys are so negative right now. I think you're underselling what's going to happen. So the 49ers aren't world beaters. They beat up on a bad Giants team, but they do have good depth, and they do make timely stops on defense. They do have a lot of good players despite all of the injuries. It's just going to be a matter of whether the 49ers can protect Jimmy Garoppolo, because we haven't talked about the offensive line, and they have not been good at all. They've been by far the worst part of their offense and probably the worst part of their team. They had 2 running backs with double-digit carries last game, and they both had in the teens in yards-wise. So they have not gotten the ground game going at all. And when that happens, you make your quarterback one-dimensional. And whether that's Mullins or Garoppolo, you don't want that to happen. So if the game's close and the Eagles are able to pin their ears back, I would be worried about that, because there's nobody that can block Fletcher Cox. Trent Williams is a man. He's a monster. But I imagine Josh Sweat will just go to the other side, or whoever it is, whoever their best pass rusher, will just go to the other side, because Mike McGlinchey has struggled at right tackles just as a pass blocker. So I think that the Eagles will have some success about getting pressure, but I think at the end it's not going to be enough. And I think the 49ers win. I'll go 24-17.
That's courteous. And the reason we're being so negative is because we were called out by a fan of Flippin' the Birds.
We're on like a curse streak.
Yeah, apparently it's a Flippin' the Birds curse, because we mentioned that the Eagles and Bengals could possibly tie multiple times on the last podcast, and they ended up tying. So our theory is, if we're negative and we say the Eagles going to lose, then maybe we win.
But the first 2 weeks were like slam dunk. Okay, they're going to beat down the Washington team. They're going to not beat down the Rams, but they're going to win comfortably. And last week we thought they were going to win, but we was like, watch them tie. They're probably going to tie. They were probably going to tie. And then, yeah. So I do think they lose. But like you said, the defensive line for the Eagles showed up last week against a really bad Bengals offensive line. They couldn't run the ball for anything, but when they did run the ball effectively for like 2 or 3 yards, it was converting first downs. And when I feel like even if they're hitting the quarterback, which they did last week, and they're stopping the run,
they had 8 sacks last week.
It's just that when the quarterback finally gets the ball off and it's not in Darius Slay's direction, it's going to be completed and it's going to go for a lot. So like you said, the defensive line maybe has 5-6 sacks again, but Mullins or Garoppolo, whoever it is probably going to complete 14 passes, and it's going to be for 150, 160 yards, and it's all going to be first downs and some touchdowns. And I just have zero. Number 47, even Duke Riley has shown nothing to me to be able to cover anybody in the middle of the field. And I just with what Shanahan does well with Debo, not even Debo, with Ayuk and Kittle and anybody they tried out there, even Sanu right now. And with for you guys, I just think Niners have too much depth for the Eagles because the Eagles' offensive line, if someone goes down, you're bringing in you're bringing in Driscoll again, you're bringing in Mailata, then that's going to be bad. And Driscoll's okay, but there's so much depth on the Niners where there's not much depth on the Eagles. And it's like where there's depth right now for the Eagles is linebacker. And it's once 47 or Wiley goes down, you're bringing in rookies. So that's their depth. Their special teamers and Alex Singleton. TJ Edwards is good, but he can't cover. So their depth is bad. So I think the Niners win. I mean, the Eagles have been giving up 25 plus points like nothing. I think they do hit the 30s against the Eagles, and the Eagles can't match it. Maybe Wentz has a good game, but it's more the defense this week. But another step closer to Jim Schwartz getting his pink slip, hopefully, maybe. I wish.
So I think I'm going to go with I could be as courteous. I'm going to go with 27-10 49ers.
Oh.
Just because I feel like this offense, outside of Miles Sanders, outside of Dallas Goedert, who's not going to be there, they can't move the ball. And they proved that they can't move the ball against the Bengals. How could you not run the ball against the Bengals? After the
Bengals game, opposing teams are starting against the Eagles on average their own 47-yard line. like Eagles Twitter today, we found out that the Eagles are top 5 in yards allowed. And they're like, oh my God, that's great. How has happened? Well, it's because they're only guarding 53 yards, so they really can't give up that many yards. But if you look at it, it's weird. You look, they're giving up 53 yards. They can only guard. They're only giving up 330 yards a game, which is pretty good compared to everybody else. But they're giving up 29 points a game. So it's like when they guarding that half of the field, they're still giving up points. So it doesn't matter how long the field is, points are going to go on the board. So it's a weird year. I mean, the COVID test on Titans and the Vikings, they should shut down the season, and we should just start it over, in my opinion.
For you, buddy.
And just keep the draft order like it is. If we can start over 0-0 and we have a number 7th overall pick, that's fine. I'll take it.
It's weird because I was looking forward to this matchup. I really wanted to see a full blown Kyle Shanahan versus Doug Pederson. But I feel like to what Kyle said, I mean, Shanahan he's a great coach. He's a mastermind. He's a whiz at everything he does. And Doug Pederson, this version of Doug Pederson is not there. He's more of a 30-year-old running back that can't get his legs moving for some reason. And Kyle Shanahan's this rookie running back that's just Clyde Edwards, Hilaire, and Doug is, just falling behind the back. That's my biggest, advantage for the 49ers is Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, he always puts the offense in a good position, man. And it feels like even on, let's say you do get a sack and it's 2nd and 16, it doesn't feel like they're not going to convert, which is crazy to say out loud, but that's just how good he is. And it doesn't matter who is on the field or who is at quarterback.
I mean, even if it's 2nd and 16, 3rd and 16, 4th and 16, 4th and 20, Jim Schwartz will put out the 6 defense, and then you guys will convert it. It's okay.
Which happened last week on 3rd and 15, and that was terrible.
Yeah. But before we let you go, Kyle, are you a big beer drinker out there?
Yeah, so I mean, I've switched more to liquor in the summer, but yeah, I like beer.
Because one of our sponsors is called Tavour, TAVOUR.com, and big craft beer seller. And for all of you out there who have heard this before, maybe you haven't heard this before, FTB10 gets $10 off when you put in our code. And this is my beer today. It's called Velocity of Light, which is probably going to be the theme of the 49ers offense against the defense, Eagles defense on Sunday. It's a double dry hopped oat IPA. Very, very good. But so you're going to see the speed of the 49ers offense, Velocity of Light, versus the Eagles sludge defense. And it's not going to be pretty. We'll see. But remember, reverse psychology in here, flipping the birds.
So Kyle, for Eagles Nation out there, let us know where they can find you. What are you hosting on the side and things of that sort.
So you can follow me on Twitter if you want I wouldn't recommend it. KP_show. If you want to read any of my work, I write for NinersNation.com, SB Nation's 49ers site. We do a lot of work there, have fun. Podcasts, articles, you name it, on Twitter, just make jokes. Just keep it light, football stuff. So, yeah, anything 49ers related, man, I got you covered.
And if people missed it, Kyle does a podcast with one of our favorites, Michael Kist.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't added me on Call of Duty yet, so I'm very pissed off at him. He asked me for my Activision ID, and I sent it to him, and he hasn't added me yet, so I'm very angry with him. But hopefully we have him on again soon, and Ben. I'd like to talk to Ben. But we'll see how that goes.
Kyle, you want to say something? You look, you were to say something.
No, I got nothing, man. I love the vibe right now. It's so hilarious.
We told you. We're very.
It's funny. We're never like this. Like we're a bit like we're realistic. We're not too biased, but we're really, we're usually a bit more optimistic. But we're trying to switch it up.
Honestly, it's more fun when you make fun of your team.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm enjoying it.
If you've seen Eagles Twitter lately, it's a lot of fun right now. So.
But until next week, guys.
I cannot wait until Hakeem Butler catches a pass before J.J. Arcega-Whiteside on Sunday. The timeline's going to blow up.
You think that's a possibility?
100. Deontay Burnett was called up on Saturday, and he caught 3 passes before J.J. has caught anything. And he played more snaps than J.J. J.J. sucks,
maybe we could trade him to the Niners.
Hey, yeah, you guys need wide receivers, right? You need jump ball specialists that can't really move well, huh?
I mean, no, but
I guess we're shit out of luck here, huh?
But thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Fontaine. This is Flipping the Birds.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.